Hey, how's it going, people? It's your man TBR here, and today we're going to talk about the third and final season of Squid Game. Yeah, so I love this show, and yeah, we're heading toward the finale. And, season two kind of left us right in the middle of the games because they spent some more time outside the games early on. Yeah, so there were 6 games in season one, so assuming there's to be the same amount this time around in this version of the game, then there's probably 3 games left. Yeah, it would make some sense, right? So, yeah, so let's think about what they might be based on what we see in the trailers. We see that there's a game where everyone's kind of drawing from this gumball machine looking thing, and they walk up to it and they each draw this plastic ball, either red or blue. Yeah, so this is probably drawing for teams, because later on we see that they're playing like some sort of looks like a tag game with rooms that are probably like safe havens. Yeah, like they're killing each other in there. It's a violent game, and they're all wearing those red and blue, like, I don't think it's quite a vest, I don't think it unzips, but yeah, it's like a jersey kind of thing. So yeah, that gumball machine is probably they're drawing for teams. Another game appears to be jump rope. We see those like that doll that they use for red light, green light, and she's playing jump rope with I think like a boy model of that giant doll thing. Yeah, and they have to stay on because if the rope hits them, they get flown off and they fall to their doom. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Jump rope. Yeah, it actually reminds me of if you ever played Halo Reach, there was a custom game where you had, they called it jump rope, but yeah, you had to kind of dodge vehicles as they came at you. You had to jump over them. It's, if you get hit, you fall off and you die. It's reminding me of that. Now let's do some story predictions. Yeah, so my major prediction is that we're going to be getting like the backstory of how the game came together. How his name's Ilnam. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, sorry if I get names wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. American, try my best here. I think it's Ilnam or Ilnam. Yeah, let's go Ilnam. That's the easier thing for me to say. Yeah, we should be getting like the backstory of how he put the game together. Maybe there seem to be like other versions of it in other countries, maybe some sort of international tie-in. Yeah, and we'll see how it all came together with the investors and all that. Just because like it just makes sense for this kind of story that you go back and establish like how, like, for one thing, how the philosophy came to be. Ilnam has this philosophy that, there is no human decency. In the game, it's really the same amount of fairness that there is anywhere in the world. Like, we give you all a chance to be here to earn a better life, and they all choose to participate, at least until a certain point in the game. So, like, yeah, his philosophy is that is fair, and that is the same as outside this game. Yeah, so yeah, we should kind of see how he arrives at this like grim philosophy that there is no human decency, that everyone is just fighting for themselves. And see like the construction of the game facilities. Maybe we see versions of it in places besides like whatever islands that is off the coast of Korea. We presume it's pretty close to Korea, but maybe it's somewhere out further in the Pacific. I don't know. This also makes sense because, well, the current game, the one we've been watching, is almost over. They've already been through half the games. Yeah, and they need a time filler, and backstory would make sense as what you put in there. Like how in season 2 they did a bit more of the build up to the game with them like hunting that recruiter. So this backstory will probably fill that time in the third season. Another character whose backstory we should get is the frontman, because he kind of shares that philosophy that there is no human decency, like the game is as fair as real life, and yeah, that's what's up. And yeah, maybe he's the first winner. That could be something to explore. And yeah, we know he's played the games and he's really good at them. Yeah, so yeah, so there's that, and yeah, it'd be neat to see like how things fell apart for him in life, excuse me, because yeah, we know that like thing was his wife was sick and someone gave him money, but his employer saw that as him taking like a bribe, so he lost everything as a result of the fallout of that, and yeah, so he ended up playing the game and winning, and now he's the front man. Yeah, so maybe we'll see some of that. Just again, it just makes sense. That's a character it would make sense to further explore. My next prediction is that Jun-ho is going to find the island. He needs to. That's the only logical place to go with his story. Yeah, and he'd obviously play a key role in bringing the game down. Yeah, so in one of the trailers, there's a shot of him, like the shot of the masked men on a boat firing at another boat, and that's presumably, the one he's been using to look for the island. So yeah, they're being chased. And there's a few shots of him alone with a gun, so presumably he's infiltrated the island and now he's, working recon or something, gathering intel. So we know that the captain of the boat that he's chartered is working with the game. So yeah, like that's the obvious plug. That's how he's gonna find the island. He's gonna get the information from this guy somehow. And by the way, I totally saw that all the way through. Just going into season 2, I'm like, yeah, this guy is 100% what's happening here is this guy is part of the game, and he's intentionally taking him away from the island. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, good on me. Yeah, how is that going to go down? How is he going to get the information out of the captain? Well, yeah, he's already killed one of the mercs, so yeah, that's going to lead to questions, right? Like, he threw him overboard, so everyone's to be like, where'd he go? Yeah, suspicions may start breaking out at that point, and like I'm hoping it's going to be a bit more complex than he simply calls the game people and those masked men show up to kill the rest of the mercs. I hope it's going to be more complex than that, because that's just too simple. Like, presumably how that would go down is they'd kill them all, but Jun-ho would escape somehow. Maybe he manages to beat the captain and kill the other masked man, then interrogates the captain and gets the info out of him. So that's just too simple for my taste. We've seen enough physical triumphs in this show, but I want to see a witty triumph, you know what I mean? So yeah, what I'm hoping is going to happen is that Jun-ho snuffs it out. He realizes something's not right here, starts getting suspicious, and he stuffs it out. This guy's part of it. He has the information I need. Yeah, and that ties into him being a cop. Yeah, he's a good detective. Yeah, that's the direction I hope they're gonna go here. If that were the case, then how do the masked men on the boat show up? Well, maybe after it's stuffed out and Jun-ho starts interrogating the captain, maybe the captain somehow calls for backup, like some device he's got implanted in one of his arms, I don't know, and that's when they show up and the chase starts. So that's at least how I hope it's going to go down. I hope it's going to be a triumph of wits, not a triumph of brawn, just because we've seen enough of that in this show. I want to see Jun-ho, succeed as a detective. Now let's talk about No-eul. So she's the masked, the triangle that we've been seeing. So, we're starting to see like what it's like being one of the masked people. Yeah, she's a triangle. Yeah, so we've already got that she feels that she was misled about what her job would be in the game. She was told she'd be putting those that feel hopeless out of their misery, which in a way is true, but isn't that far off. I mean, it lacks a lot of information, And in one of the trailers, we see that there is a triangle that's fighting an officer in an elevator. So, yeah, a lot of people have already called this, and yeah, it's probably right. That's probably going to be her, No-eul, and the square officer that she reports to. Yeah, there's another shot of her crawling through, like, the vents, and that's in the teaser trailer. So, what this seems to be adding up to is she's going to defect. Yeah, that's what it seems to be happening here. And that makes sense, Yeah, a perspective that hasn't really been explored yet is, the masked people having doubts about what they're doing. So that's really makes sense here, and that's probably where it's going. And there's another shot of her outside of like a fan leading to like outside at the exterior of the island. So is she gonna help people escape? Is she gonna maybe she's gonna end up teaming up with Jun-ho, and she'll be like his agent on the inside, and they'll be working behind the scenes together. That'd be a cool thing to see. Setting up that eventually they're going to have to stage another fight, but like the one that they just lost at the end of season 2, and they're gonna have to win this one. Another thing about No-eul is that she has that person she knows in the game, Jun-seok. Yep, again, sorry if I'm not getting the names right. I'm trying my best. But yeah, he's the father of that little girl who got sick. Yeah, as we saw in the lead up to her story. Yeah, so yeah, he's there because he presumably needs the money for his daughter's treatment. Yeah, so he dies, or at least it looks like he dies at the end of season 2. He's one of the men that was part of the skirmish at the end, and they were all executed at the end. But what do we actually see there? A triangle pulls a trigger on him, but we don't see it. We don't see it like actually hit him, but he does fall to the ground. So, and that triangle did look to be a woman. Like, you'd never really know, but if I had to guess, I'd say woman. So, yeah, a lot of people are speculating that's probably No-eul, and I think that's probably going to be right. So, I examined the shot, and it looks like whoever that triangle was may have shot him intentionally in a spot that wouldn't be fatal. It's like sort of like off to the side. Like, yeah, like may have hit him like the edge of his liver or something. Yeah, like it looked intentionally non-lethal, but he did fall, so it likely did hit him, or maybe it just scared him, or he was somehow already in on the plan. I don't know. Yeah. So, assuming that this is right, that is No-eul, then her plan may be for the organ harvesters to pick him so that she can ambush them and help Jin-seok escape. That's really what it makes sense, and we think about the various, all the gears, the mechanisms that she could use to try and save him. What would make sense is she intentionally shot him in a non-fatal spot, and that's intentional, so one, that he'll survive, and two, so that he'll get picked by the organ harvesters, and they prefer people with, that haven't been damaged that badly, so the organs will be good. Yeah, so that's what makes sense here. She's hoping that the organ harvesters are going to pick him, and she's just going to ambush them and help him escape. And it just occurred to me that when they escape, that could be when they run into Jun-ho. He coincidentally arrives at the islands, and they meet on the coast there, like just after the escape, and that's when they form a plan. Like maybe at first they don't trust each other, but then they realize they both know Ji-hun. So they must both be on the same side. And yeah, that's when they're going to form a plan. Like, okay, what do we do going forward to help Ji-hun and the others in the game? Yeah, that'd be neat. Yeah, maybe Jin-seok is going to be part of that. Maybe it's going to be the three of them working together sort of behind the scenes to help the people playing the game and setting up the next battle. Yeah, that'd be neat. That'd be a neat spot to see the groups kind of shift a little, tell stories of different people working together. Next prediction is that Dae-ho may get some sort of redemption. He's that Marine who really chickened out in the skirmish. It cost him the skirmish. Went bad. And yeah, he's in the game room cowering, and then Hyun-ju shows up, looking for him, like, hey, where were you with the ammo, man? And, she finds him cowering, so that wasn't such a good moment for Dae-ho. And, yeah, so maybe he's going to be redeemed somehow. Could be that maybe he's going to die to save Hyun-ju, because, she's the one that found them there, so would it make sense that maybe that'd be the character that he's redeemed by? Yes, and yeah, maybe he dies saving her in the knife game. It could be something like that, or jump rope. And speaking of Hyun-ju, maybe she plays a key role in like the combat victory, since she's a good soldier. She really kicked ass in that battle. And we do see a shot of her during the doors a knife tag game, whatever that is, of her beating someone up. So yeah, maybe she's going to play a key role in the combat victory that ultimately ends the game. Yeah. All right, well, those are my predictions for the final season of Squid Game, and I can't wait to see it. I really like this show. I think the actors especially are really, really good. Yeah, some really good performances in this show. Yeah, so yeah, I'm excited to see the finale, and I hope you guys are too. Yeah, so yeah, I think I will do a review for it as well. I haven't done a review on Nerd News Media yet, and it's time for one. So yeah, and this I expect to be good. So yeah, it'll probably be my first review on this platform. So look forward to that, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.